Dear students, we will now discuss the four key points, locations and geographical characteristics of the continent. As we have come to know that 67% of the Earth's lithosphere is confined to the northern hemisphere, the continents of North America, Europe are completely within the northern hemisphere. The continent of North America, Europe are completely within the northern hemisphere. On the other hand, in east-west direction, North America and South America are located in the west direction. Although the international boundaries are fixed among the countries, the boundaries between the continents are basically determined through some physical elements like rivers, sea, oceans, etc. For instance, the boundary between the continents of Europe and Africa is determined by the Mediterranean Sea, and between Asia and Africa by the Red Sea, and on the other hand, the boundary between Europe and Asia is determined by the Ural mountain range. Again, the boundary between North America and South America is formed by the Panama Canal. The presence of hills and mountains, plateaus, plains, coastal plains, etc. has kept the topography of the lithosphere highly rough. Of course, the topography is not same in all parts of the continent, and the climate also does not remain the same in different places of the earth. For instance, the climate of the equatorial and tropical region is hot and wet. Mid-latitude region temperate and polar region extremely cold. Due to such variations of climatic conditions, the vegetation's character also differs. Depending on difference in climate, soil, and topography, the agriculture practices and crop production also vary from one area to another. Accordingly, the area with favorable physical conditions and having economic advancement in agriculture, industry, trade, transports, etc., witness a very high density of population. Hence, the population density is very low in the extremely hot and cold region. Out of altogether 7 continents of the world, the snow-covered continent of Antarctica does not have any permanent human settlement. Dear students, now we'll try to discuss briefly about some physical characteristics relating to topography of the remaining 6 continents. The continent of Asia. It is the largest continent in the world with an area of 44.6 million square kilometers. This continent covers about 30% of the Earth's land area. Asia is mainly located in the northern hemisphere. It lies between 78° north latitude in the north to 1° north latitude in the south and 25° in the east longitude in the west to 170 west longitude in the east. There are many islands located in the Pacific Oceans, such as Japan, Taiwan, etc. The continent is surrounded by the Arctic Oceans on the north. Arctic Oceans on the north, the Indian Oceans on the south, the Bering Straits and the Pacific on the east, and the Red Sea, Suez Canal and Mediterranean Sea, Caucasus Mountain, Caspian Sea, Ural rivers and Ural mountain ranges on the west. As per 2014 estimate, the populations of Asia is 430 crores, which constitutes about 3/5 of the world's population. There are 51 countries in Asia. Now, let us discuss about the third points of Asia. The continent of Asia is covered with high mountain ranges, plateaus, river valleys, lowlands, coastal plains, islands, desert, etc. Its central part is full of mountains and plateaus. Among the mountain ranges, the north-south Ural mountain range forming the western boundaries of the continent. The world's highest peak, Everest, 8,848 meters, belonging to the Himalayan mountain systems, also falls in the continent. Many large rivers originated from such highland regions of mountains, hills, and plateaus, follow to the ocean and seas in the north, southeast direction, and have formed a number of fertile plains and deltas. The Indus, Ganges, and the Brahmaputra, etc., are part of the continent. Besides, Gobi, Thar, and Arabian deserts are also located in the continent of Asia. Now, let us discuss about the continent of Europe. The continent of Europe is situated along the northwest boundary of Asia, northwestern boundary of Asia. It is completely located in the northern hemisphere. Its geographical area is 10.9 million square kilometers. which constitute 7.3% of the Earth's land area and 3 times the land area of India. There are many islands like the British Islands, Iceland, etc. And the Atlantic Ocean falls in this continent. Europe is surrounded by the Arctic on the north, the Mediterranean Sea, Caspian Sea and Black Sea on the south, the continent of Asia on the east, and the Atlantic Ocean on the west. It means that the continent of Europe is surrounded by seas and oceans from 3 sides. There are 44 countries in Europe. According to the estimates of 2014, the population of Europe is 74 crores, which constitute about 10.4% of the world's total population. The physiographic structure of Europe is very complex and diverse. It can be broadly divided into 2 parts, northern part and southern part. The northern part, which stretches from the coastal France on the west to the Ural mountain. On the east is almost plain land. But the southern part from Spain to the Black Sea, having covered with hills and mountains and plateaus, is highly rough. The Mount Elbrus peak, which is about 5,633 meters of the Caucasus mountain range, is the highest place of Europe. Dear students, now let us discuss about the continent of South Africa. South Africa is the second largest continent in the world. It covers an area more than 30 million square kilometers, about 20% of the world's total land area. The equator, which passes almost through the middle of this continent, divides it into 2 parts. It is surrounded by the Mediterranean Sea on the north, the Southern Ocean on the south, the Indian Ocean on the east, and the Atlantic Ocean on the west. Algeria is the largest country of this continent. There are 52 countries in Africa. The major part of the continent is a large plateau. There is high mountain range in Africa. The Kilimanjaro peak, which is about 5,895 meters, located on the east, is the highest place of the continent. There are many lakes and rivers found in this continent. The world's longest river, Nile, Orange, Limpopo, etc., falls in this continent. Besides, the world's largest desert, Sahara Desert, the Kalahari and Namibia deserts are located in Africa. Now, let us discuss about the continent of North America. North America is the world's third largest continent. Its area is 24.3 million square kilometers, which constitutes 16.3% of the world's land area. As this continent is located on the north of South America and also in the northern hemisphere, it is called North America. The continent of North America is surrounded by the northern oceans on the north, South America, Gulf of Mexico, and the Pacific on the south, the Atlantic on the east, the Bering Strait, and the Pacific on the west. The world's second largest country, Canada, is the largest country in North America. The physiographic characteristic of North America is highly diverse. Its highest place is McKinley Peak, which is about 6,194 meters, and the lowest place is Death Valley, which is about 86 meters below sea level. On the basis of physiographic character, North America can be mainly divided into four divisions: Rocky Mountain region, Great Upland Plain region, Appalachian Highland region, and Coastal Lowland Plain. There are many rivers and lakes in North America. Among the rivers, Missouri, Mississippi, Yukon, etc. are worth mentioning. On the other hand, the major lakes of the continent include Superior, Huron, Ontario, Great Bear, etc. Now, let us discuss about the continent of South America. The continent is just located on the south of North America. Is South America. Its shape is like reverse triangle. Its shape is like reverse triangle. It means in northern part it is very wide, and in the southern part it is very narrow. The geographical area of this continent is about 18 million square kilometers, which is 11.9% of the world's land area. The continent of South America is surrounded by North America and Caribbean Sea on the north, the Southern Ocean on the south, the Atlantic on the east, and the Pacific Oceans on the west. Altogether, there are 12 countries in South America. The world's fifth largest country, Brazil, is the largest country of South America. Now let us discuss about the physiographic characteristic of South America. It is highly diverse. It contains almost all the landforms, including high mountains, riverine, plains, plateaus, coastal plains, islands, desert, etc. The western part of South America is covered with high Andes folded mountain range, in north-south directions from Panama Canal to Cape of Horns. It is the longest mountain system in the world with a length of about 8,000 kilometers. In respect of altitude, also the positions of Andes is just next to the Himalayas. Its highest peak is Aconcagua, which is about 7,020 meters. The Great Brazilian Plateau is located in the eastern part of the continent. The world's highest lake, Titicaca, is also located in this continent. Now, let us discuss about the continent of Oceania. The continent of Oceania is formed by the great island of Australia and many small islands. And it is located in the southwest Pacific, including New Zealand, Tasmania, New Guinea, etc. It is located on the south of Asia, which is completely a part of Southern Hemisphere. The land area of this continent is about 8 million square kilometers, which constitutes 5.4% of the world's total land area. Australia is the largest country of this small continent, and it is the 6th largest country of the world. Along with Australia and New Zealand, the continent of Oceania altogether has 14 countries. As per 2014 estimate, Oceania has about 38 million population. The main land of Oceania is an ancient plateau. It is narrow coastal plains all around. The eastern part of Australia has a high mountain region formed by the Great Dividing Range and Snowy Mountain. This region is known as the Australian Alps. The two major rivers are Murray and Darling rivers. The western part of Australia is covered with a wide desert such as Great Victoria, Great Sandy, etc. Dear students, the last key points of this chapter is countries of the world. Here we will try to discuss about the total countries of the world. There are altogether 197 countries in the world. In terms of land area, Russia is the largest country and Vatican City is the smallest country in the world. With respect to population size, China is the most populous country and Vatican City is the least populous country in the world. Out of all countries in the world, Asia has 51 countries, Europe 44 countries, Africa 53 countries, North America 23, South America 12, and Oceania 14. Dear students, the list of countries under each continent is given in your textbook. So please try to know at least 5 countries, their capital, area and population from each continent. You can choose any countries and their capital which you are familiar from each continent. So with this, I end up my class. Thank you.